20 of them this time. 20 altogether this time. Anybody start on a £90 base? A £90 better, £90 better, £90 better, £90 better, £90 better, 92. 92 base. 94. 96. 98. 100 base. 2. 5. 1 5 base. 1 5 better, better, 105 better, better, 105 base. At 105 better, 105. Anybody else up? 105 better, £105. Mr. James Cornwall. Sorry? Bucknell, right? Bucknell. Yeah, right, I'm with you now, yeah. Yeah. Mr. Bucknell number 1, that's right, yeah. Bucknell 1. Try to get involved with people's relationships and then get in a scroll. Right, then here we are this time then. How many have we? 28 of them. 28 altogether this time. How much for all? Anybody down for them this time? Anybody? £90 for them? £90 for them? 85 base. 85 pound better, 88 better, 88 pound better, 88 pound. At 88, 92, 92 base. 92 pound better, better, 92 pound 4, 6, 8, 98 base. 98 pound. Anybody else up at 98 pound better? Gonna sell them at 98. At 98 pound. Anybody else up? I'm gonna sell them at 98 pound. Mr. Coy. Mr. Coy for 28 of them. 28. Right, then here we are this time. 20 of them again. 20 this time. How much for all? Anybody's out for them? £90 for them. 85 bait. 85 pound better, 5, 85 better, 5 better, 85 pound better, 5 better, 85 bait. At 85 bait. At 85 pound, it lies up at 85 pound at 8. 88 bait. 88 bait. 88 pound, it lies up at double 8. 88 bait. 88 pound, it lies up at 88 pound, but I'm going to sell them at 88 bait. 88 pound, anybody else up? I'm going to sell them at 88 pound. The Bucknell 1. Oh, sorry, number 2. Bucknell number 2. Bucknell 2 for 20 of them. 20. Thank you very much, David. Thank you, Ronnie. 12 of them, right away from Tay Sowerby this time. Right up Cradle side. I got lambs here. How much for all? Anybody's out this time anyway? £90 for them. £90 bait. £90 better, 90 better, £90 better, £90 better, 90 bait. At £90 bait. At £90 it's the rise up at £90 2. 92 by 4, 6, 96 Ben, 96 Ben, and 96 pound. Anybody else up at 96 pound 8, 98 Ben, and 98 Ben, and 98 pound. It lines up at 98 pound. Anybody else up at 98 Ben, and 98 Ben, and 98 pound. It lines 100 pound Ben, at 100 Ben, at 100 pound. It lines up 100 pound. Better gonna sell them. At £100, anybody else have a £100 better, £100. Bachelor. That's right. No. The one. Right, thank you. The 1 for 12 of them. 12. 15 altogether. 15 this time. How much for all? Anybody's down for them? £90 for them. 82 baby. £82 better, 82 better, £82. 82, 4, 84 bait, 84 pound, 6, 8, 90 pound, 2, 5, 95 bait, ready? 98 bait, 98 pound, anybody else have a 98 pound, anybody else have a 98 bait, a 98 pound, it can up a 98 pound, anybody else have a 98 pound on the top. On the sorry, Winland. Thank you, Mr. Winland. Sorry, Winland.
The Q's silent.
We'll take your word for it. There was 15 anyway, sir. 15. Right, then here we are then. 24 of them this time. 24 this time. How much for all? Anybody's there for them? Anybody's there? Then a 72 biting. 72 pound better, 72 pound better, 72 pound better, 72 pound. 72 biting. 74. 75. 75 biting. 75 pound. Everybody else have it. 75. Everybody else have it. 75. 6. 7. 77 biting. 77 pound. Everybody now. 77 pound. Anybody else have it? 77 pound. Ross Brothers, Aberdeen. 24 of them, Alan. 24. Now that here we are this time, right away from Neil Marston and Mary this time. Right away from Cockermouth. Right from Neil and Mary here. Now these are the second prize. These are the second prize this morning in a very, very strong class. Second prize this morning in a very, very strong class. And it is my pleasure today to present the Rowan Churrington Cup here for the Lambs. I was hoping you'd be coming, Mary. Good start for Dave's, that anyway. Right, and here we are this time, and a grand pen of lambs and all. They were loaded at 2:30 this morning. Loaded at 2:30 this morning. Second prize lambs in a very, very strong class. 10%. It's a tremendous run of lambs to come, and there's 10% luck on them. How much for those? Anybody start me? Anybody start? Then a £400, then a £300, anybody? £200 mate. £200 better, £200 better, £200 better, £200 mate. 20, 50, 250 better, 280, 300, 20, 50, 80, 400, 20, 50, 80, 500. There was somebody bidding it, all right. £500 bid. At £500 better, £500. Anybody else have? I'll take another 20. At £500 bid, them's a better good shape. At 500, 20, 50, 80. Come on. 600. £600 bid. We don't deal in halves either day or night, really. At £600 bid. I'll take 20. At £600 bid. Maybe see you. £600. Anybody else have a £600 better gonna sell them? At £600. Anybody else have a £600? Anybody else have? At £600 better, £600. Give me winter. Then I will give it. Now that here we are this time. Then again.
These were 6 prizes.
These were 6 prizes this morning. 6 prizes this morning. And the 10% look on these, them's a good better shape. Put away for him this time. Anybody down than a £200 for him. £200 for him. 150 then. Made 150 better, £150 better, 80. 200. £200 made. £200 better, 220. 50, 80. 300. £300 made. Another battle here. 300 made. £300 better, £300 better, going on to £300. I'll take another 20 now. 20, 50, 80, 400, £400 bid, 20, 50, 80. Another battle. Take it now. I'll take that, Lisa. 490, 490 better, £490 better, another 80 again, 490 bid. 490 better, £490 better, going on. At £490 better, £490. Anybody else have at £490? Give me winter. $20 of them, round lambs again. 20 good lambs again this time.
So give another 10.
Sorry? 10% again on this pen. How much for those? Anybody's there for them? And a nice lambs and all. Put away for them this time. And away that 150 for them, anybody? 150. 120 bait now. 120 about 120 pound, about 120 pound, about 120 bait now. 5, 125, 125 at 30, 5, 135, 135 at 135 pound, about 135 bait now. 14, 5, 145, 145 about 145 about 145. Take a little. 8. 148. 148 about 148 pound about a pound and I say all at 148. At 148 then. At 148 about 148 pound. Anybody else up? At 148 anybody else up? I'm gonna sell him at 148 pound. Henry Justin 2. Henry Justin number 2 for 20 of them. 20. How many? 20 again. 20 grand lambs again this time. 10% again. 10% again this time. Anybody start at 140 for them? 20 bang. 120 about 120 pound about a good penetrate and all 5. 30. 5. 135. 135 about 135 pound about a 138. 138. 138 about 138 pound about 138 bang. At 138. At 138 about 138. 40, 2, 5, 148, 148, about 148, pound about 148, 50, 2, 5, 8, 60, 160, bang, another barrel, 160 about 160 pound, anybody else up? 160 about 160 pound, anybody else up? 160 pound. Mr. Watts. Mr. Watts for 20 of them. 20. 25 again. 25 again this time. 5% look on them. There's a pen about it. I'm right cheering makers here. How much for all anybody's out for them this time? And 110 magnets. 110, 15, 25. 125 at 120 for 30. 5, 40. 140 bang. 140 about 140 pound about 140 bang. At 140 bang, I'll take a little. At 140 all out here. At 140 bang. 140 about 140 pound about I'm gonna sell them at 140 bang. 140 about 140 pound. Henry Justin, number 2. Henry Justin 2 for 25 of them. 25. $25 again. 25 again this time. Grand lambs again this time. Anybody down at 110 maiden? 110 maiden. 110 about 115. 20. 120 maiden. 5. 125. 30. 130 maiden. 130 about 130 pound about 102. 5. 8. 140. 140 maiden. Another barrel. 140 bang. 140 about 140 pound, but you're all out in front. 140 pound. Anybody else have 140 pound? Henry Justin 2. 25 of them. $25 again. Then a right shape again this time. Then 110 bang. At 110 bang. 110 by the time at 115. 25, 125, 125 at 125 pound about 125, 30, 130 bang, take a little, 132, 132, 132 bit all out in front, 132 out here now, 132 about 105, 8, 40, 2, 142, 142 about 142 pound, anybody else sharp at 142, Henry Justin 2. 25 of them. $30 this time. 30 of them this time. How much for all? Anybody down for them? Grand lambs again. Then a good lamb this time. Then 110 maiden. At 110 maiden. Well bred sheep. At 110, 15, 20, 120 maiden. 120 about 5. 125. 125 at 125 at 8, 128, 128 at 128, pound at 128 maiden, at 13, 130 maiden, 130 about 130 pound, anybody else have 2, 132, anybody near 132, 132 about 132 pound. Anybody else up? 132. Anybody else up? Gonna sell them at 132. And we just into 30 of them. 30 again. Right, then we're 30 of them this time. Very nice ones again this time. Anybody 110 men? I 110 men. I 110 men. I'm at 110 pound. I'm at 110, 12, 15, 18, 20, 2, 5, 8, 30, 130 men. Very nice sharing makers at 130 men. I 130 about 130 pound. Anybody else up? Maybe 2, 132, 5. Another barrel, 135. Big Thomas. 135 at 135 at a gonna sell him at 135. 135, anybody else have at 135. The Stokes for 30. 30 again. Look at them go lamb this time. How much for all? Anybody's down at 115 at 20. 120 about 120 pound about 120 pound. 5, 13, 5, 135, 135 at 135 pound. 40, 2, 142, 142 about 142 pound. You're out here now at 142, all out in front. 142, 142 about 142 pound. Anybody else have 5? 145, 145, 145 at 145. Anybody else have at 145 pounds? Danny Branston, number 2. Danny Branston, number 2. Branston 2 for 30 of them. 30. 30 again. 30 good lambs again this time. Anywhere than 110 men. I 110 men. I 110 men. I'm at 110 pounds. I'm at 110 men. I 110, 15, 20, 120 men. 120 about 120 pounds. I'm at 5. 125, 125 at 125 at 125, 128, 128, 128 at 128 pounds at 128, 128, 130 men, 130 men. Another battle. 130 men. 130 about 130 pound with my bids on the top of the 130 bait all out in front. 130 about 130 pound. Anybody else have 130 pound? Williamson. Yes, same as before for 30 of them. 30. 30 again. 30 this time. Anybody 115 bait. 115 by 115 pound by 15 by 115. At 115 by a nice shape and all 115. At 115 by 115 pound 18. 20. 120 by 120 by 120 pound by 122. 122. 122. 5. 125. 125. 8. 128. All out here now at 128. 128. 128, about 128 pound. Anybody else are going to sell them at 130, 130 pound, 130 about 130 pound, about 130 pound. The Yardley for 30, 30 of them. 30 again. Right, here we are this time. 30 again, Mary. 30 again, wasn't it? 30 again. 30 grandmams again this time. How much for all? Anybody's out for them? Hands up in I say. Anybody's out, then 115 men. 115 about 115 pound, about 15 about 25, 125, 125 about 125 about 125, 125. 125 at 125, and you're all out in here. 8, 128, 13, 2, 132, 132 about 132, pound about 132, 132 about 132, 5, 135, 135 about 135 about 107, 135, everybody else out, 107 at 135, to the top. Mr. Hickson. You. Mr. Hickson for 30. $30 again. 30 grand lambs again this time. Then 110 maiden. 110 by the time at 115. 115. 115 by 120. 120 bit. That lady waving at me, you bidding. 125. 125 maiden. 125 by 125 by 125. 125. 8. 130. 130 by 2. 132. 132 about 132 pound about 132. 132 about 132 pound. Anybody else have about 132 pound? Henry Tustin 2. $30 of them. 30 again. 30 grand lambs again this time. How much for all? Anybody's down at 110 mate. 110 mate, or 110 mate, or 12 at 112. 112 mate. 112 at 112 pound, at 15. 115. 18. 20. 2. 5. 8. 128 mate. 128 mate, 128 mate, 128 mate. At 128. 128. 128 about 128 pound. Anybody else have? I'm going to tell him. Anybody else have 128 pound? The bond? No. Sorry, Mr. Ainsty. Ainsty, thank you. Mr. Ainsty. $30 again. 30 grand lambs again this time. How much for all? Then 110 men. 110 about 110 pound, about 112, 15, 18, 20, 2, 5, 125, 125 about 125, about 125, 125, 125 about 125, 8. You ready? 120, are you ready? 30, is that right? 130 men. 130 pound, 130 about 130 pound, about another battle sharp, 130 about 130 pound, anybody else? I believe 130 pound, the 5, Mr. 5 for 30. $50 this time. 50 of them. $50 Neil. 50 Edward. 50 of them this time, good lambs again. How much for all? Anybody's down than 100 pound maiden. 100 pound, about 100, about 100 pound, about 100, about 100 pound, about I'll take a fiver of anybody. At 100 pound maiden. At 100 pound, about 100 pound, about 100 pound maiden. 100 maiden. 100 pound, it's 2, 5, 8, 10, 110 maiden. Take another battle. 12, 15, 115 maiden. Tell if you cut if you wanted 115 maiden. At 115, about 115 pound. Anybody else have at 115? You're all out here. At 115, 115, about 115 pound. Anybody else? I've got to tell them at 115. Come back at 2. There's one thing I'll not be bothered about cooking them. $30 to follow. Right, then here we are. 30 of them this time. Woodlands again. Anybody's down this time anywhere than a 95 maiden. A 95 pound, about a 5, about a 95, 100 pound, about a 2, about a 5, about a 1, 5, about a 8, about a 1, 8, 10, 12, 15, 115 maiden. At 115, about 115, 18, 20, 120 maiden. 120 about 102, 5, 125, 125 about 125 pound. Anybody else have at 125, 125, 125 about 125. Anybody else have? I'm going to tell them at 125. Ainstick. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. The Ainstick for 30.
30 again finished.
30 of them this time. How much for all? Anybody's down for them? 30 this time, anybody's time, and a 95 baiting. A 95 pound better, £595 better, £595. A 95 baiting. A 95 pound better, £95 better, 98. 98 baiting. 98 pound if you like up at 98 pound. Anybody else up at 98 baiting? At 98 baiting. At 98 pound at 100. 2. 125. 158. 18 better, another better, 108 better. 18 better, 108 better, 108. 10. 110 better. 12. 112. Second limit, 112. 112 better, cover 112 pound. If you like up 112 better. 112 better, cover 112 pound. Henry Johnson. Number 2. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Henry Johnson, number 2. I don't hear maybe. Yeah. Henry Johnson, 2 for 30. Right, then here we are this time then. Right away from Mark Spencer here. 10 of them this time, right away from Mark Spencer here. Mark and James here this time then. 10% look on it. 10 a nice land. How much for those? Anybody start for them? Anybody start this time anywhere than £160, then £120. £100 mate. £100 better 5, better 1, 5 better 10, better 110. 15, 115, 20, 5, 125 better 125 better 125 mate. At 125, 8, 128, 128 better 113, 130. Are you bidding? Are you bidding, young man? 130 mate. Are you bidding? 2, 5, 135, 135 at 135 at 138, 138, 138, 40, that's right, 140 bain, 140 about 140 pound. Anybody else have 140 bain? 140 about 140 pound. Anybody else have 140 about 140 pound? Anybody else have? He's 2 weeks. He's 2 weeks. Yeah. 10 of them. 15 to follow. 15 of them this time. How much for all? Anybody's out there? 110 for them. 110 main. 110 better 15. 20. 120 main. 120 better 120 pound better 120 main. 120 main. 120 better 120 pound better 102. 5. 125. 125 better 108. 13. 150 main. 150 about 150 pound. Anybody else have 150 bait? 150 about 150 pound. Anybody else have? Conrad Lester, number 1. Conrad Lester, 1 for 15. 14 altogether. 14 of them this time. How much for all? Anybody's have for them? 14 of them this time. Put away for them this time. Then £100 for them, main. £100 main. 100 pound about 100 about 2, about 102, about 5, about 105, 8, 10, 110 main, 110 about 110 pound about 110 main, 12, 112 main, 112 about 112 pound. Anybody else have 112 main? 15, 18, 118, 118 about 118 pound. Anybody else? 20, 120 main. 120 about 120 pound. Anybody else have 100? 2, 122, 5, 125, 125 about 125. Anybody else have 125? Call. Mr. Call, thank you. For 14, Mr. Call. 14. 31 of them this time. 31 this time. Anybody's there for them? £100 for them. £100 about 100 about 100 pound about 100 pound about 100 pound. 102. 1 2 8. 5, 8, 10, 12, 112 men, and 112 about 15, 18, 118 about 118, he bidding now, 20, 2, 122, 122 about 122, pound about 122, 122, anybody else have about 122? Tom Gribble. Tom Gribble. Mr. Gribble. For 31, Tom, 31 of them. 26 to follow. 26 this time. How much for those? Anybody's down for them? Anybody's down this time? Then a 90 pound main. 2, 92 main. 92 pound metal. 2, 5, 8, 100, 100 pound main. 100 pound about 100, about 100 pound about 102, 5, 8, 10, 12, 112, 15, 18, 118, 118 about 118 pound. Anybody else have about 118? All out here now. 118 about 118 pound. Anybody else have at 118? Mr. Abbott. Mr. Abbott. Thank you. Mr. Abbott, the 26 of them. 26. $30 of them this time. 30 of them this time. How much for all? Anybody's down for them? 94 beaten. 94 pound better, 6 better, 96, 8, 100, 2, 5, 1, 5, 105, about 105 pound, about 105 beaten. At 1, 5 beaten, 8, 1, 8, 10, 12, 112 beaten. 112 about 112 pound, about 15, 115, 115 pound. It's your eyes have at 115. At 115, anybody else have going to sell him at 115? Abbott. 30 of them, 30. $15 again. 15 altogether this time. How much for all? Anybody sell for them? 90 pound baiting. A 90 pound battle, 90 battle, 90 pound battle, 90 pound. 2, 5, 8, 98 baiting. 100, 2, 5, 8, 10, 12, 15, 115 baiting. 115 by 115 pound. Anybody else have at 115? The guy. 15 of them. 15. Just a minute. Right, then here we are this time then. How many are we? 10. 10 of them this time. Right away from Neil Allen this time and Stanley here. 10% look on them. Them's a pen of good shape. Pen of good lambs. How much for those? Anybody's out for them? How much for them? Anybody's out anywhere? 200 pound and 150 for them. 120 men. 120 about 120 pound about 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 180 men. 180 about 190, 190 men. 190 about 190 pound about 190 men. 190 about 190. Bidding Peter. Peter, you're banging your leg. I've took you twice. 190 men. At 190 about 190 pound, but I'll take a fiver then. At 190 men. At 190 about 190 pound, but I'll take a fiver sharp. 5. 195, 200 pound. Another battle. 200 pound maiden. Good pen of shape. At 200 pound maiden. At 200 pound, it's your lines up at 200 pound, but I'm gonna sell him at 200 maiden. At 200 pound, anybody else sharp? At 200 pound, but I'm gonna sell him anybody else sharp at 200 pound. Henry Justin. Number 2, 5. Henry Justin, number 5. For 10 of them, 10. 10 again. 9 again this time, and there's a pen of good shape. Anybody's out this time, then 130 men. 130 about 130 pound about a 5. 135. 135 40. Ready? 140 bid 5. 15 5. 155 8. 155 about 150. 5% back 155 8. At 155 at 155 at all out here now at 155. 155. 155 at the gate to get on at 158. 60. 160 bang. 160 about 160 pound better going on at 160 bang. At 160 about 160 pound anybody else up? At 160 about 160 pound anybody else out? Got to sell him at 160 pound. Alan Collett 7. Alan Collett 7 for 10. 12 this time. 12 grand lambs again this time. Anybody's out this time and 110 mate. 15, 20, 5, 30, 5, 40, 140 mate. 140 about 140 pound about 140 mate. 5, 115, 150 mate. 5% back 150 mate. 5, 60, 160 mate. Where's he at? 5, 165, 165 at 165, but you're all out in here at 165, out in the doorway, 165, 8, 168, 168 about 168 pound about 168, 168 about 168 pound. Anybody else have 168? Danny Branston. Danny Branston, yeah. Have you a number, Danny, or not? 1. Danny Branston 1. You seem to be going rather carefully with your money, Danny. Right. Think on your think. Hey, think on your own halves, Danny. Danny, think on your own halves tonight. You know what's on tomorrow morning. Right, then here we are this time then. 18 of them. 18 of them this time. Better nice shape and all. How much for all? Anybody's out for them? Anybody's out at 110 for them? Been 110 about 110 pound about 112. 112, 15, 18, 20, 2, 5, 8, 128, 30, 130 bane, 130 about 130 pound about 130 bane, 130 about 130 pound about all out in 2, 5, 135, 135 about 135 about 135, 135, 8, 138, 138, but all out here now at 138 pound. 138 but 138 pound. Anybody else have at 138 pound? Hickson. For 18. Yeah. How many out? 16 of them, stronger lambs here. Look at them good lambs. Anybody's hard than 110 bang. 115, 25, 35, 135, 135 at 135 bang about 135, 8, 40, 140 bang. 140 about 140 pound. Anybody else have at 142, 142, 142 bang. 5, 145, 148. 148, 148, but 148 pound. Anybody else have? 148, anybody else have at 148 pound? Danny Branston, 1. Danny Branston, 1 for 16. Plenty of them, grand lambs again. Anybody's out this time, anywhere, the good lambs at 100 pound, mate. 100 pound, about 105, 10, 15, 20, 5, 8, 128, 128, better nice shape and all 128, bang. Are you bidding? 128, 30, 130, bang. 130 about 130 pound. Anybody else have 102, 132, 132, 132 all out here now at 132, 132 about 132 pound about 132. The Stokes for 20 of them, 20. 20 again. Round and a pound, just a run up, he said. Where's the run up this time? Then 120 bang. At 120 about 120 pound about 120 bait. At 120 about 120 pound about 120 bait. Just to run up the last two. 122, 5, 8, 128, 30, 130 bait. Another battle. 130 bait. Just to run up to 132. 132 about 132 pound about 132. 132 about 105. 135. 135 at 135 pound. Anybody else shall be bidding? 135 at 135 pound. Danny Branston, number 2. Branston, number 2. For right, then here we are, 20 of them this time. That level again this time at 115 mate. At 115 at 115 pound at 120. 120 mate. 5. 125, 125 at 125, 8, 125, 125, 8, 128, 128 at 128, pound at 128, 128, 128, 128 at 128, pound, you're all out in front at 128 at 128, pound at 128. Alan Collett, 7, 20. 20 of them. 26 of them this time. 26 woodlands again. How much per door anybody's out for this time? And a woodland and all, then 105, 10, 110 mate, 110, 15, 115, 115 pound, about a 15, about 115 mate, at 115, at 118, 118. 118 about 118 pound, but all out in the doorway at 118. 22, 122, 122 about 125, 125, pen and ice land at 125. You're out yonder at 125. 125 at 125. Anybody else have a corner sell him at 125? David Chug, Devon, 1. David Chug, 1. Devon, 26 of them. 26. 25 again. 25 of them this time. Anybody saw this time? And a 110 maiden. Look at them for nice shape. 110 pound at a time at 110 at a time at 110. At 110, 12. 112, 15, 18, 22, 122. 122 about 122 pound about 122, 5, 125, 125 about 125 pound. Anybody else have a got to tell him at 125, 125. Strickland 2, Strickland 2 for 25 of them, 25. $34 of them this time. 34 of them this time. Go very long and all this time. Anybody's down than 105 baby. At 1.5 about 105 pound about 110. 110 baby. At 110 about 110 pound about 110 baby. At 110 baby. At 110, 12, 15, 18. 118 all out in the doorway, 118 baby. At 118 about 100. At 118, 118 about 118 pound. Anybody else out? At 118, at 118. David Chug, Devon, number 1. Chug, 1. 34 of them. 34. $40 of them this time. 40 grand lambs again this time. Have a penny say. Anybody tell that 105 baby? 1.5 about 105 pound about 105 baby. At 1.5. At 105 about 105 pound about 105 baby. 8, 10, 12, 112 baby. 112 about 112 pound about 112 out in the bottom. 112 baby. At 112 about 112 pound 15. 115. At 115, at 115, about 115 pound. Anybody else have a got at 18, 118, 118, about 118 pound. Anybody else have at 118? David Chug, Devon, 1. Shug 1 for 40 of them. Very much need and give Stan. Right, that here we are this time, then. Now that here we are this time, right away from James Dent. How many? 10 of them this time, right away from James Dent, do you? Right away from Queensway. 10 and 9 lambs and all. How much for all? Anybody's down for them? Anybody's down this time anywhere than £130 and 110 for them made. 110 made. 110 made out of £110 out of 110 made. 15. 120. 5. 125. 125 at 125 at 125 made. At 125. 125. At 125 at 125 at 125. All out at 8. 128. 128. 128 about 128 pound. Anybody else? 128 50. 150 bang. 150 bang. 150 about 150 pound. Anybody else have 150 pound? About 150 pound. On the top. Mr. Kirby. 10 of them. Mr. Kirby. 10. 15 of them this time. How much was all then? £100 mate. £100 about 100 about 100 pound about 100 about 105. 105 mate. 105 about 105 about 105 about 105 mate. 8. 108. 18 mate. 18 mate. 18 about 100 mate. 18 mate. 10. 110 mate. 110 about all out in front now 112. 112 mate. 112 about 112 pound each rise up 112 made off 14, 16, 116, 116 about 116 pound. Anybody else have? And 116 about 116 pound. Anybody else have at 116? Kirby, 15 of them. $14 again. 14 of them this time. Anybody's out for them? Anybody's out this time and a 95 bang. A 95 pound about a 95 pound about a 95 pound about a 95 bang. 95 bang. A 95 bang. A 95 pound is get up 8, 100, 2, 5, 8, 10, 12, 112 bang. 112 about 112 pound about 112 bang. 112 about 112. Anybody out? 15, 115. 115 about 115 pound. Anybody else have a gun? About 115. Michael Barker. 1. Michael Barker. 1 for 14 of them. 14. Right, then here we are. 17 of them. 17 this time and a 95 bang. 8 bang. 98 about 100. 2, 5, 8, 10. 110 mate, 110 mate, 12, 15, 115 mate, 118, 20, 2, 122, 122 about 122 pound at 5, 8, 128, all out here, 128, 128 about 128 pound. Anybody else have at 128 pound? Kirby. 4. 17. 19 of them. 19 altogether this time. How much for all? Anybody's out for them? 95 bang. 95 pound about 95 pound about 98. 100, 2, 102 bang. 102 about 102 pound about 102 5. 15 bang. 15 about 105 if you like, have 105 at 107, 108, 10, 110 mate, 12, 112 mate, 112 at about 112 pound about 112, Koi, 19, 24 of them, 24 this time. How much for all? Anybody's down this time and a 95 mate. A 95 pound about a 95 pound about a 98. 98 bang. A 98 bang. A 98 pound it can I have 100, 2, 102 beaten, 102 beaten, 102 to about £102 5, 15 beaten, 105 about £105. Anybody else up? Decoy. Decoy for 24 of them. 24. 19 of them. James again. Same again this time. How much for all? Anybody's out for them? Anybody's out this time? Anywhere this time? Anywhere? £90 beaten. A £90 beaten. A £90 medal. £90 medal. £90 2, 5, 8. 98 beaten. 98 beaten. A £98. Anybody else up? A £98 at 100 beaten. 2, 1, 2. 1, 2 medal to about £102 about 102 beaten. 1, 2 medal to about £102. Anybody else have at £102? Edwards. For 19. 25 to follow. 25 of them. How much for all? Anybody's out? Then nice ones again. £90 maiden. £90 medal. £90 medal 2, 5, 8, 100, 2, 5, 8, 108 maiden. 1, 8, 10, 12, 112 bed, another battle. 112 maiden. At 112 medal to about £112 about 112 maiden. At 112 medal to about 112. Anybody else have £112? Edwards. For 25 of them. 25. 35 of them this time. 35 of them this time. Anybody's got a 92 beaten. 92 beaten. A 92 2 better. 92 pound better. 92 beaten. 92 pound. 4, 6, 8. 98 beaten. 9800 beaten. 100 pound. 2, 5. 105. 1 5 out of 105 out of 105 beaten. At 1 8. 108. 1 8 about 108 pound. Anybody else have a gun? It's at 108 pound. It's Duncan. Duncan. 35 of them marked there. 35. $24 of them this time. 24 this time. Anybody? 88 beaten. 88 pound out of 88. 19. 2, 5, 8, 100. 100 pound beaten. 100 pound out of 100 pound. 100 pound out of 100 beaten. 102. 1, 2. 1, 2 battle about 102 pound about 102 beaten. At 1, 2 beaten. At 102 4. 1, 4, 6, 8, 108, another battle, 108 beaten, 1, 8 made 108 pound, if you like, up 108 pound, anybody else have 108 pound, on the bottom, oh, what's it name, Bucknell, wasn't it, Bucknell 1, that's right, Bucknell 1, Bucknell 1, thank you very much, now that here we are, 10 of them this time, right out of Bishop there, right away from Brian Fawcett and lads here. Right, and here we are this time. Better nice land. How much for all? Anybody's out for them? 140 for them. 120 mate. 120 about 120 pound about 120 mate. 120 about 120 pound about 120 mate. 120 about 120 pound about 5. 125. 125 about 125 at 30. 150 mate. 150 mate. 150 about 160 pound about 2. 152. 152. 152 about 162 pound about 132. 152. 152. 152 about 162 pound about I'm gonna sell him at 132. 5. 155. 155. 155 about 155 pound. Anybody else have? 155 about 155. Anybody else have at 155? Michael Barker. Michael Barker, 1. 20 of them. 20 of them. 20 this time. How much for all? Anybody's out for them? Anybody's out than £100 maiden. £100 about 100 about £100 about 100 about 105. 1 5 mate. 105 about 105 about 105 mate. At 1 5 mate. 1 5 mate. 1 8 10. 1 10 mate. 1 10 about 110 about 110. 12 15 18 118, all out in front, 180 minutes, 118, 118, 118, about 118 pound, but I'm going to tell them at 120, 120 men, 2, 122, 122, about 122 pound, anybody else up? 122, about 122 pound, about 122, Harrison, Bernard. 25, I want to follow. 25 on this time, I want to door. Anybody's there then? 95 maiden. 95 pound better, better, 95 pound, 8 better, 98 maiden. 9800, 2, 102, 5, 105, 15 better, better, 105 better, 8, 110, 112, 112 maiden. 112 better, better, 112 pound, better, 112 maiden. All out in front. 112 maiden. 15, 115, 115 about 115 pound. Everybody else have at 115, 115 pound. Edwards. For 25 of them, 25. 25 again. 25 this time. How much for that? Anybody's out for them. Anybody's out this time, then 100 pound maiden. 100 pound, about 100 about 2, about 5, 8, 10, 110 maiden. 110 about 110 pound, about 110 maiden. At 110 maiden. At 110 about 110 pound, if you like, up 110 maiden. All out in here. At 110 about 110 pound, about 12, 112 maiden. 112 about 112 pound, anybody else have 112. Edwards. 25 of them. 28 this time. 28 altogether this time. Anybody's out and a 95 maiden. A 95 pound about a 5 out 95 pound about a 5 out 95 maiden. A 95 maiden. A 95 pound if you line up at 95. Anybody else up at 95 maiden. A 95 8. 98 maiden. 98 100 maiden. 100 pound maiden. 100 maiden. 100 pound if you line up 100 pound about a gonna sell her. At 100 pound anybody else up, I'm gonna sell him at 100 pound. Back at number 2. John back at 2 for 28 of them. 28. Thank you. Thank you very much. 10 of them this time. Right away from Alan Blades here. Alan Blades and Trevor. Right from Alan and Trevor this time. Them they've in a nice shape. And they've in a good shape. How much is all? Anybody down than 150 for them? 150 for them. 120 then. Made 120 about 120 pound, about 120 pound, about 120 made. 125, 13, 5, 14, 5, 145, 15, 150 made. 150 about 150 pound, about 150 made. 150 about 150 pound, anybody else have 150 made? 10% back, 2, 152, 152 about 180. 152, 5, 155, 155 at 155, everybody at 8, 158, 158, 158 at 158 pound, anybody else up? 158 at 158 pound, anybody else up? 158, they're going to sell them at 158. Richard Haynes, 1. Richard Haynes, 1. 10 of them. 12 altogether. 12 of them this time. How much for all? Anybody's out than 100 pound for them. 100 pound maiden. 100 pound about 102, 5, 8, 10, 12, 15, 115, 115 about 115 pound, 18, 20, 120 maiden. 120 about 120 pound, about 120 maiden. At 120 about 120 pound a little tail. 122, 122, 122 about 122 pound. Anybody else have? 122 about 122 5. 125, 125, 125 about 125. Anybody else have? Richard Haynes, number 2. Richard Haynes, number 2. For 12 of them, 12. 28 of them this time. 28 of them this time, a better nice lambs and all. How much for all? Anybody there? Then 100 pound for them. 100 pound for them. 100 pound for them, then a 95 bait. A 95, 100 bait, 100 pound, better 2, to better 5, 8, 10. Well bred sheep, 110 bait. 110 bait, 110 pound, better 12. 112 bait. All out in here, 112 bait. 112 out of 112 but out in the doorway. And 112 bait. 15. 115, 115, 115 about 115 pound, but I'm going to sell them 115 pound. Anybody else have 115, 18, 118, 118, 20, 120 pound, 120 about 120 pound, about 120 pound. Number 2. Young back at 2, 28 of them, 28. $24 to follow. Keep the alleyway clear. Right, then we 24 on this time. How much for all? Anybody's there for them? 92 bait. 92 pound, better 5, 95 pound, better 98, 100, 2, 5, 105 bait, all out in here. 105, 8, 10, 110 bait. 110 by the time at 110 pound, about 110 bait. At 110 by the time at 110 pound, about I'm going to sell them. At 110, anybody else have it 110? Young back at number 2. Young back at 2 for 24 of them. 24. Thank you. Right, then here we are this time then. Right away from
all the treatment, plunge dip.
David Wallace here this time, in plunge dipped as well. Had all the treatment. 10 of them, David in there. 10 of them this time. 10 all together this time. How much for all? Anybody sell for them? Them the better I say. Anybody sell this time? Then 120 for them. 100 pound made. 100 pound better 5, better 110, better 115, 20, 5, 125, 30, 130 better 5, 8,
10%.
10%, 138 men, 138 better 138 pound better 138, 40, 140 men, 140 better 140 pound better 102, 145, 145, 145 better 145. Anybody else have? 145 better 145. Anybody else have? Want to sell them? 145 better 145 pounds. And a pound, Derbyshire. That's right in it. That's right in it. Yeah. Man of Arms, Derbyshire. 10 again. 10 again this time and 110 men. 15, 20, 120 about 125, 30, 5, 14. Decaletland, 140 men. 140 about 140 pounds. Anybody else have 140 men? At 140 men. At 140 about 142. 142. 142 about 142 pounds. Anybody else have a 142? Yardley. For 10 of them. 10.
Big lambs again.
26 young lambs again. 26 good lambs again this time. Anybody have than 100 pound maiden? 1 5, 1 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 125. 125 at 125 at 125, 125, 125 at 125 at all out in front 8, 130, 130 men, 130 at 135 at 107 at 102, 5, 135, 135 at 135 pounds at 107, 135 at 135 pounds. Conrad Lester, 1. Conrad Lester, number 1, the 26 of them, 26. 26 to follow.
Biggest chicken.
26 of them this time. Weigh them on. How much for all? Anybody's out for them. 95 maiden. A 95 pound about 100 about 100 pound about 105. 10, 15, 115 maiden. A 115 about a second little at 115 maiden. A 118. 118 about 118 pound. Anybody else out at 118? 118 about 118 pound. Anybody else at 20? 120 maiden. 120 about 120 pound. About 120 pound. Michael Barker, number 1. Michael Barker, 1. 26 of them, 26. Thank you very much. How many? 10 altogether. David Dinsdale. Right away from David Dinsdale this time with 10 of them. 10 nice shape again this time. How much for all? Anybody's out for them? And the better nice shape. Anybody's out, then 120 maiden. 120 by 120 pound about 120 maiden. 120 made 5, 13, 5, 135, 135 by 135 pound about 135, 135, 138, 138, 138 by 138 pound. Anybody else? All 40, 142, 142, 142 by 142 pound about 142. 142 about 142 pound. Anybody else? Manor Farms, Derbyshire. Manor Farms, Derbyshire for 10 of them. 10. How many? 15 of them. 15 altogether this time. Anybody? Then 110 maiden. 110 maiden. 15. 115 about 120. 5. 13. 5, 135, 135 at 165 pound. Anybody else have? 135, 135 at 165 pound. I'm going to tell him 135 at 138, 138, 138 at 168 pound. The Yardley, 15 of them. Yardley. 30 of them this time. 30 of them this time, and I go lambs and all. How much at all? Anybody's out on 115, 115, 115, about 15, about 120, 120 men, 120 about 120 pound, about 2, 5, a minute, 128, 128, about 128 men, 128, about 128 pound. Anybody else out? 128, about 128 pound. Anybody else out? Stokes for 30 of them. Right, there here we are this time then. 36 of them. 36 this time. Anybody's out at 110 maiden. 110 meter 12, 15, 18, 20. 120 about 120 pound, about 120 maiden. 2, 5, 125. All out here now, 125 maiden. 125. 125 about 125, about going on at 125. 125 about 125. Anybody else have? Hawes. 36 of them. It's the Hawes. $40 of them this time. 40 of them this time. And I go lambs again. Then 105 maiden. 105 about 110 about 15. 115. 115 pound equalize up 115 about 115 maiden. At 115. At 115. 115 pound equalize up 115 pound about going on by at 115. 115 about 115 pound. Anybody else have? 115 pound. Anybody else have at 115? Come back at 2. 40 Owen John. 40. 36 this time. 36 of them this time. How much for all? Anybody's out for them? Anybody's out then 105 maidens. 105, how about a 15, how about 105, 8, 10, 12, 15, 115 maidens. At 115 at 115 pound. Anybody else have 115? At 115. At 115 at 115 pound. But I'm going to sell him. At 115. Anybody else have? Going to sell him at 115. Ben Kidd. Ben Kidd for 36. Ben 36. Forty of them this time. 40 good lambs again this time at £100 mate. £100 mate, 100 mate, £100 about 105. 15 mate. 105 about 15 about 105 mate. 158. 1810. 110 mate. 110 mate about 110 pound about 110 mate. 110 mate about 110 pound. Anybody else about 110? John Gent. 1. John Gent, 1, 40 of them, 40. £30 of them this time. 30 altogether this time. Anybody £100 mate? £100 about £100 about I'll take a fiver of anybody now with 100 mate. £100 mate. £100 about £100 about I'll take a fiver anyway. £100. £100 mate. £100 each of us have £100. Anybody else have £100? John back at number 2. John back at 2. 30 of them. 30. Thank you very much. Yeah. 10 of them this time. 10 altogether this time, right away from Thomas here. Thomas Iverson. 10% look on them this time. 10% look on them this time. I've been a good lambs and all. I'll bet as well there, the 10% look. How much for all? Anybody down? Then 140 for them. 120 mate. 120 mate of 5. How about 125 mate? How about 125? 125 mate. How about 130? 5. 40. 5. 145. 145 at 115, 5, 16, 5, 17, 170 bane, 170 bane, 170 pound about 170 bane, at 170 bane, I'll take 2 to get on, at 170 bane, 2 if you like, 170 bane, I mean, 2, 5, 8, 80, 180 bane, 180 about 180 pound about 180 bane, at 180 about 180 pound about I'm going to sell him at 180 pound. At 180 about 180 pound. Anybody else have at 180 pound? Brian Lawson. 15 altogether. 15 of them, Glen Lambs again. Look at them this time. Anybody's out this time at 115 made. At 115 about 115 pound about 120. 5, 13, 130 bang, 130 by 130 pound by 5, 135, 135, 14, take it now. Even 140 bang, 140 out here now with 140 bang. I'll take a little 140 bang. 140 by 140 pound with 3 pays back at 140 bang. 140 by 140 pound. Anybody else have a going to sell about 140 pound? Richard Haynes, 1. Richard Haynes, number 1. 15 of them. 12 to follow. 12 of them this time. Anybody tell about 110 men? 15. 115, 20. 120 men. 125. 125, 13. 130 men. 130 men. 160 pound about 160 men. 132. 132 men. 132 about 162 pound about 132, 132, 132 about 162 pound about 107, 162 about 162 pound. The 5, 12 of them. 5, 5, 6. $30 of them. 30 altogether this time. How much got on? Anybody's out at 105 baby. At 105, how about a 15 out of 105 baby. at 1.5 maiden, at 105, have at a 1.5, at 105 pound, at 105, 1.5 maiden, at 1.5 8, 8, 1.8 maiden, 10, 12, 112 maiden, all out in front, 112 maiden, at 112, at 112, at 112, at 112, at 112 pound, at going on 15, 115. 115 at 115 pound. Anybody else have a hundred at 115? Michael Barker, number 1. Michael Barker, 1. 30 of them, 30. 30 again. 39 comes again this time, then 100 pound maiden. 100 pound, about 100, about 100 pound, about 105. 10. 110 maiden. 110 about 110 pound, about 110 maiden. 12. 15, 115, 18, 118, 118, but all out in front of 118 maiden, and 118 at 118 pound, if you like anybody else have at 118. Peter Hetherington. Peter Hetherington for 30 of them, number 2. Hetherington number 2 for 30. 23 this time. How much for all anybody's have then 100 pound maiden? 100 pound, about 100, about 100 pound, about 100 pound, about 100 maiden. 100 pound maiden, 5, 1 5, 8, 110, 12, 112, 112, about 112 pound, about 112 maiden. At 112 maiden, you're all out in front. At 112, about 112 pound, anybody else have at 112? Michael Barker, 1. 23 of them. 23. But 31 of them this time. 31 altogether this time. How much for all anybody's have this time? And a 95 maiden. A 95 maiden. A 95 pound, about 100 pound, about 100 pound 2. 1 2. 105, about 105, about 105 maiden. 8, 10, 110 maiden. 110 about 110 pound, about 110 maiden. All out in front. 110, 12. 112 maiden. 112 about 112 pound. Anybody else have 112 maiden? And 112 about 112, about 112 pound. John Barker, 2. John Barker, number 2. For 31 of them. 31. Very much going. Now that here we are this time, and right away from David Hoggett this time, right away from Sedberg. Paul Hoggett here. 12 of them, right away from Paul Hoggett. Right, and here we are out for all. Anybody's out, then 110 for him, 100 pound for him, 100 pound for him, then a 90 pound maiden. A 90 pound better 5, a 95 better 100 pound better 100 pound maiden. A 105, 10, 110, 12, 112 maiden. 15, 18, 20, 120 maiden, 2, 122, 122 about 122, 5, 125, 8, 128, another medal, 128, 128, about all out in front, 128, about 128 pound, about going to sell it, at 128, about 128 pound, about 128 pound, Richard Haynes, number 4. Richard Haynes, number 4. For 12 of them, 12. Paul again this time, 16 of them. 16 altogether this time. Anybody, 85 maiden, 8, 88 maiden, 19, 90 pound, 2, 5, 8, 100, 5, 105 maiden, another battle, 8, 108, 1-8, about 108 pound, it right up 108 pound, all out in front, 108 maiden, 1-8, about 108 pound, anybody else have a got to sell them at 108 pound. Michael Barker, 1. Michael Barker, 1, 16 of them. $24 of them this time. 24 altogether this time, and a 90 pound maiden. 90 pound, about 90, about 90 pound, about 90 pound, 2, 5, 95, 8, 100, 2, 5, 105 bait. Anybody else have? 105, about 105, but you're all out in front of the 105. John Barker, number 2. John Barker, 2, for 24 of them. And you're for 24 of them. Now, here we are this time, then right away from John Pedley and Richard here this time, right away from Barber.
No, it's me and my wife. Yes.
Sorry?
Me and my wife, yes.
Now to do with your father now, eh? No, it's him and wife, he said. His father's now to do with you. I get a bit confused with these family relationships, but I'll try my best. Right, then here we are this time, then a grand pen of lambs and all. 10 of them. 10 all together this time, then a pen of nice lamb. Now, but all, everybody's out at 150 for them. 120 main. 120 by 120 pound by 105. 125. 125 by 130. 5. 135. 135 40. 5. 16. 150 main. 5. 60. 5. 165. 17. 10% back at 170 main. 170 by 170 pound. Anybody else have at 170 main? The 2 to get on. 170 main. 2. 5. 8. 178. 178 by 178 pound. Anybody else have at 178? 178 by 178 pound. Better gonna sell him at 80. 180 main. 180 main. 180 by 180 pound. Anybody else have? 180 by 180 pound. Anybody else? 2. 182. 182. 182 by 182 pound. Anybody else have at 182? Richard Haynes. 1. Richard Haynes. 1. 10 of them. Now that here we are this time. 10 good lambs again this time. Same home again. How much for all? Anybody's out this time at 120 main. 120 by 20 by 5. 13. 5. 14. 5. 145 main. 145 at 145 pound. Anybody else have at 145? 145. 145. 8. 148. 50. 5. 16. 5. 17. 170 main. 170 about 170 pound. Anybody else have? 170 about 170 pound. Anybody else have 170 pound? Danny Branston. Number Danny. 1. Danny Branston 1 for 10 of them. 20 of them this time. 20 all together this time. How much for all? Anybody's out for them? Anybody's out at 110 main. 110 by the time at 115. 20, 5, 30, 130 main. 130 by 130 pound, about 130 main all out in front. 130 main. 130 by 2, 132, 132 by 132 pound, about 132, 132, 132, 5, 135, 135 by 135. Anybody else have? 135 by 138, 138. 138 by 138 pound at it, 14. 140 main. 140 by 140 pound. Danny Branston. 1. 1 Danny. Danny Branston 1. 20 of them. 20 again. 20 this time. How much for all? Anybody's out for them? 100 pound main. 100 pound by a 5, about 110 by a 10, about a 15, 20, 5, 30, 130 main, 130 by 5, 135, 135 by 135 pound. Anybody else have at 135, 8, 138, 138, 138 by 138 pound. Anybody else have at 138 pound? The Yardley. 20 of them, 20. 30 to follow. 30 good lambs again this time. 30 grand lambs, how much for all? Anybody's out for them? Anybody's out this time? And 100 pound main. 100 pound, about 100 pound, about I'll take a 5 of anybody. 5, 10, 15, 115 about 115 pound. Anybody else have 115? 115, 118, 118 about 118 pound. 20, 2, 5, 125, 125. You're out in here now at 125 Biden. 125 at 125. Anybody else have 125? Anybody else have it? 125. John Gent 2. John Gent number 2 for 30 of them. 30. Again. Keep the alleyway clear. 30 of them this time again. How much roll them on? How much for all? Anybody down at 100 pound Biden? 100 pound about 105 pound about 105. 1 5 Biden. 105 about 1 5 about 105 pound about 8, 10, 12, 15, 18, 20, 122, 122. 122 about 122 pound about 122 5, 8. Is that right? 125 then, are you? Is that right? 125, yeah. 125. Are you bidding behind? At 125. 125 at 125. Anybody else have at 125? The Hawes for 30. The Hawes for 30. 30 again. Right then, 50 of them this time. How much for all? Anybody down this time anywhere? 100 pound for them. 100 pound about 100 pound about 100 about 100 pound about. I'll take a fiver of anybody. At 100 pound. 5, 10, 15, 18, 20, 2, 122. 122. Everybody else have 122 pound about 122. 122 about 122 pound. Anybody? It's Duncan. It's Duncan for 30 of them. 30. 30 again. 30 grand lambs again this time at 110 mate. 110 barrel come at 110 barrel come at 110 mate. 15, 18, 20, 120 mate. All out in here 120 mate. 120 barrel 120 pound at 120 mate. 122, 122, 122 about 122 pound. Anybody else have it? 122. The Hawes 30. 35 to follow. 35 this time then. Ben and I shave again this time. Anybody 100 pound mate? 100 pound about 100 about 100 pound about 5 about 105 10 15 115 mate. 115 about 115 pound. Anybody else have it? 115 115 115 about 115 pound. Anybody else have? 115 about I'm gonna tell him anybody else have it? 115. Then kid, 35 of them. Then kid, 35. 30 again. 39 comes again this time and 100 pound mate. 100 pound about 100 pound about I'll take a fiver of anybody 5, 10. Take a little 110 mate. 110 pound 12, 15. 18, 118 about 118 mate. 118 about 118 pound. Anybody else have? 118 about anybody else have at 118. Danny Branston number 3. Branston 3. 30 of them. 30. 35 again. 35 again this time and 100 pound mate. 100 pound about 100 about 100 pound about a pen and eye shape and all and 100 mate. 100 pound mate. 100 pound about 100 pound 2 about 102 5 8 10 12 112 bait. Anybody else have? 112 bait. 112 bait. I'll have at £112, but I'm going to sell him at 112. £112. Anybody else have at 112? Young gent number 1. Gent 1 for 35 of them. 35. $30 to follow. 30 of them this time. How much for all? Then a 95 bait. A 95 pound about a 95 pound about a 95 bait. 98. 98 bait. A 98 pound it lines up. A 98 pound. Anybody else have it? 98 bait. 100. 100 pound bait. 100 bait. 100 pound bait. 2. 1 2 bait. 102 to about 102 pound. Anybody else have? 102 pound it lines up. 102 pound. Anybody else have it? 102 pound. Oh, nunnery, isn't it? The nunnery number 3. Nunnery number 3 for 30 of them. 30. How many? $35 of them. 35 altogether this time. How much for all? Anybody's out then? Anybody's out then? A 90 pound bait. A 90 pound bait or 90 pound or 90 pound bait or 90 pound. A 90 pound bait. A 92. 92 4 6 8 100 2 102 bait 5 1 5 105 about 105 pound about 105 bait. 105 about 105 pound. Anybody else have about 105? The James Cornwall. Mr. James Cornwall. James. James. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right, then here we are this time then. Right away from Sandra this time.
45. Helped about 3 twice.
45 of them right away from Collier Home this time. Right, then here we are this time then right away from Sandra. How much for all? Anybody start at £100 for them? Anybody? £90 to start it. £90 for them, 85 bait. £85 about a 5, 85 pound about a 5, 85 pound about a 88. 88, 90, 2, 5, 95 bait, 95 bait, 98 bait, 98 pound it lies up at 98 pound. Anybody else have it? 98 bait, at 98 bait, at 98 pound it lies up at 98 pound. But I'm gonna sell them at 98 bait. All out in here at 98 bait. 98 pound. Anybody else have it? 98 pound. But I'm gonna sell anybody else have it? 98 pound. James Cornwall. James Cornwall for 45 of them. 45. You, Sandra. Now here we are this time then right away from Stockdale. How many? 10? How many? 10 of them. 10 of them this time right away from Stockbrook. Now Sam. Right away from Sam Gilbert at this time. Now, there's the best as well there, Hawes.
I've not been pushed.
Right there, no push whatsoever, he says.
That's where Mule House should be bought from.
Right, then here we are this time. Put away for them this time. How much for those? Anybody tell that 140 for them? 120 then. Bain. 120 about 120 pound, about 120 pound, about 120 bain. 5. 125. 125 about 125 about 30. 130 bain. 130 about 135. 135. 135 about 135 about 140. 5. 15. 5. 16, 5, 17, 170 bain. 170 about 170 pound, about all out in here at 170 bain.
They'll grow on these rims.
They'll grow, he says. The hope in the wheel. 170 bain. 170 about 170 pound, about I'll take 2 to get on. At 170, 2, 172, 172 but 5, 175, another barrel, 175, 175 at 175 pound about 175, even 8, 178, 178 about 178 pound about 178, 178 about 180, 180 babe, 180 babe, 180 about 180 pound. Anybody else have 180 about 180 pound, about 180 pound. James Towler, James Towler. No, 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 no. Sam again, 20 of them.
Same again.
20 good yells again, and then yell makers and all this time.
Some bigger lambs here.
Good lambs and all this time, then 120 for them. Bid 120 about 120 pound, 120 bid. At 125, 13, he bid it 5, 14, 140 bid. 140 about 140 pound, about 140 bid. At 140 bid, you're out here now at 140 bid. At 140 about 140 pound, everybody else sharp. I'll take two to get on at 140 bid. At 140 about 140 pound, about 140 pound. David Dick. But are you happy or not? Just a minute, just a minute, just a minute. Are you happy or not? Sorry? Not really, no. No, the thing was, I took you, but I wasn't just over sure whether you were certain what you were doing or not. It's all right. Yeah, he'll take him. Yeah, no, it's all right. He'll take him. No, he doesn't need a number. They're all the same. Thank you, David. The 2 or 3 of you just bid at the same time. 25 of them. 25 of them. Grand lambs again. How much for all? Anybody? £100 for them. £100 about 100 about 5. About 105 about 105 mate. 10, 15, 20, 5. 125 about 125 about 108. 128, 13, 2, 132, 132 about 132 pound about 132. You're all out here now at 132, 132, all out in the bottom. 132, 132 about 132 pound about I'm gonna sell him at 132 pound. The new house. Yeah. Give me new house. 25 of them, 25. $35 to follow. Grand lambs again. Grand lambs again this time. Anybody? 105 bait. 10. 110 bait. 115. 115 about 115 pound 20. 5. 125. 125 about 125 about 125. 125. 125 at all out here now at 125 bait. 125. 8. 128. Another barrel. 128. 128 about 128 pound about 128. 128 about 128 pound. Anybody else? 30. 130 bang. 130 about 130 pound. New house. Give me new house again. 35 of them. 35. Ewing. It's all the same, though, isn't it? Ewing, sorry. Ewing. Yeah. Ewing. It's another relationship job. Ewing. E-W-I-N. Ewing. Ewing. Right? Right? 40 of them this time. 40 altogether this time. 40 of them this time. How much for those? Grand lambs again. 10 grand lambs again this time. Anybody's out at £100 bait. £100 about 100 about £100 about I'll take a fiver of anybody. 5, 10, 15, 115, 18, 20, 2, 5, 8. Is that right? 125. 125 about 125 about 125. You're all out in here. At 128, 128, 128 about 128 pound. About I'm going to sell him at 128 pound. The Williamson for 40. Williamson for 40. There again, Sam.
Yeah, right.
Good man.
Better sort, please, right?
Good man.
Thank you very much.
39. 39 of them.
Good sort, please.
39 of them this time. How much for all? Anybody's out there? 105 pence. Good feeding next again. 15 pence. 105. How about a 15? How about 105 pence? At 15 pence. At 105. How about 105? How about a 15? At 15 pence. At 105. How about a 15? Everybody 8. 108. 10. 12. 112 pence. 112 about 112 pound. Anybody else at 15? 115. 115 about 115. Anybody else at 18? 118. 118 about 118 pound. Anybody else at 118? Metcalf, Kirby Lonsdale. Metcalf, Kirby Lonsdale. For 39, Richard. 39.
Last lot now, Rim, last lot.
38 of them. Nice shape again. Then a nice shape again this time. Then £100 bait. £100 about £100 about I'll take a fiver of anybody. £100 bait. £100 about £100 about £100 about £100. 5, 8, 1 8 bait. 1 8 better anybody else have £108 about 108 bait. You're all out in front. 108 bait. 1 8 £108 about 108 bait. 1 8 about 10, 12. 112 bait. 112 about £112. Anybody else have 112? Michael Barker, 2. John Barker, number 2, those. John Barker, number 2. John Barker, 2. Right, then I'll hand you over to Kenton then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.